Day 21 of 365, Genesis 41, Genesis 42, and Psalm 20. 41. After 2 whole years, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing by the Nile, and behold, there came up from the Nile 7 cows, attractive and plump, and fed in the reed grass. And behold, 7 cows, ugly and thin, came up out of the Nile after them, and stood by the other cows on the bank of the Nile. And the ugly thin cows ate up the 7 attractive plump cows. And Pharaoh awoke, and he fell asleep, and dreamed a second time, and behold, 7 ears of grain, plump and good, were growing on one stalk. And behold, after they sprouted 7 ears, thin and blighted by the east wind, and the thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump, full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. So in the morning his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all its wise men. Pharaoh told them his dream, but there were none who could interpret them to Pharaoh. Then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, I remember my offenses today. When Pharaoh was angry with his servants, he put me in the chief baker in custody with the house of the captain of the guard. He dreamed on the same night, he and I, having the dream with its own interpretation. A young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. When he told him, he interpreted our dreams to us, giving an interpretation to each man according to his dream. And as he interpreted it to us, so it came about. I was restored to my office, and the baker was hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they quickly brought him out of the pit. And when he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came in before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have a dream. There is no one who can interpret it. I have heard it said that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. Joseph answered Pharaoh, it is not me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, behold, in my dreams I was standing on the banks of the Nile. 7 cows, plump and attractive, came up out of the Nile and fed in the reed grasses. 7 other cows came up from them, poor, ugly, and thin, such as I never seen in the land of Egypt. And the thin, ugly cows ate up the first 7 plump cows, but when they had eaten them, no one would have known that had eaten them, for they were still ugly in the beginning. Then I woke. I also saw in my dream 7 ears growing on a stalk full of good. 7 ears withered thin and blighted by the east wind sprouted after them. The thin ears swallowed up in the 7 good ears. And I told it to the magicians, but there was no one who could explain to me. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one. God had revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dreams are one. The 7 lean and ugly cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty years blight by the east wind are also 7 years of famine. It is as I told Pharaoh. God has shown to Pharaoh what he's about to do. There will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, but after them there will arise 7 years of famine, and the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will consume the land, and the plenty will be unknown in the land by the reason of the famine that will follow, for it will be very severe. And the doubling of Pharaoh's dreams meant that the thing is fixed by God, and God will shortly bring it about. Now therefore let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh proceed to appoint overseers over the land and take 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt during the 7 plentiful years. And then let them gather out the food in all these good years that are coming and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. That food shall be reserved for the land against the 7 years of famine that are to occur in the land of Egypt, so that the land may not perish through the famine. Joseph's rise to power. The proposal pleased Pharaoh and all his servants, and Pharaoh said to his servants, can we find a man like this in whom the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has shown you all these things, there is none so discerning and wise as you are. You shall be over my house, and all the people shall order themselves as you command, only as regards to the throne, that I will be greater than you. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took his signet ring from his hand and put it on Joseph's hand, and clothed him in garments of fine linen, and put a gold chain around his neck. He made him ride in his second chariot, and they called out before him, bow the knee. Thus he sent him all over the land of Egypt. Moreover, Pharaoh said to Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without your consent no one shall lift up the hand or foot in the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphenath-Paneah, and he gave him his marriage Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. So Joseph went out over the land of Egypt. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh the king. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. During the 7 plentiful years, the earth produced abundantly, and he gathered up all the food of those 7 years, which occurred in the land of Egypt, and put the food in the cities. He put in every city the food from the fields around it. And Joseph stored up grain in great abundance, like the sand of the sea, until he ceased to measure it, for it could not be measured. Before the year of famine came, 2 sons were born to Joseph. Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore them to him. Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget all my hardships and all the father's house. The name of the second he called Ephraim, for God has made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. The 7 years of plenty that occurred in the land of Egypt came to an end, and the 7 years of famine began to come. As Joseph had said, there was famine in all the lands, but in the land of Egypt there was bread. When all the land of Egypt were famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Pharaoh said to his Egyptians, go to Joseph and see what he says to you do. So when the famine had spread all over the land, Joseph opened up the storehouses and sold the Egyptians, for the famine was severe in the land of Egypt. Moreover, the earth came to Egypt to Joseph to buy again, because the famine was severe over all the earth. 42. Jeez. When Jacob learned that there was grain for sale in Egypt, he said to his sons, why didn't you go look for another? He said to them, behold, I have heard that there is grain for sale in Egypt. Go down and buy the grain for us there, that we may live and not die. So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt, but Jacob did not send Benjamin. Joseph's brother went with his brothers, for he feared that harm might happen to him. Thus the sons of Israel came to buy among the others who came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Now Joseph was governor over the land. He was the one who sold sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed themselves before him and their faces on the ground. Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he treated them like strangers and spoke roughly of them. Where do you come from? He said. They said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph recognized his brothers, and they did not recognize him. And Joseph remembered that his dreams that he had dreamed of them, and he said to them, you are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land. They said to him, no, my lord, your servants have come to buy food. We are all sons of one man. We are honest men. Your servants have never been spies. He said to them, no, it is the nakedness of the land that you have come to see. And they said, we your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of the one in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is no more. But Joseph said to them, it is as I said to you, you are spies. By this you shall be tested. By the life of Pharaoh you shall not go from this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you, and let him bring your brother, while you remain confined, that your words may be tested, whether there is truth in you. Or else by the life of Pharaoh surely you are spies, and he will put them all together in custody for 3 days. On the third day Joseph said to them, do this, and you will live, for I fear God. If you are an honest man, let one of your brothers remain confined where you are in custody, and let the rest of you go and carry grain for the famine of your household, and bring your youngest brother to me, so your words will be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. Then they said to one another, in truth that we are guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the distress of his soul, and when he begged us, and we did not listen, that is why the distress has come upon us. And Reuben answered him, did I tell you not to sin against the boy? But you did not listen, so now there comes a reckoning of his blood. They did not know that Joseph understood them, for there was an interpreter between them. Then he turned away from them and wept. And he returned to them and spoke to them. And he spoke to Simeon from them and bound them before their eyes. And Joseph gave orders to fill their bags with grain and to replace every man's money in his sack, and to give them provisions of the journey. This was done for them. Then they loaded their donkeys with the grain and departed. And as one of them opened the sack to give them the donkey of fodder at the lodging place, he saw his money in the mouth of the sack. He said to his brothers, my money has been put back. Here it is in the mouth of my sack. At this their hearts failed them, and they turned trembling to one another, saying, what is this that God has done to us? When they came to Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, they told him that all that happened to them, saying, the man, the Lord of the land, spoke roughly to us and took us to be spies of the land. But he said to them, we are honest men. We have never been spies. We are 12 brothers, sons of our father. One is no more, and the youngest this day with our father in the land of Canaan. Then the man, the Lord of the land, said to us, by this I shall know that you are honest men. Leave one of your brothers with me, and take your grain in the famine for your households, and go away. Bring your youngest brother to me. Then I shall know that you are not spies, but honest men, and I will deliver your brother, and you shall trade in the land. As they emptied their sacks, behold, every man's bundle of money was in the sack. And when they and their fathers saw their bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob, their father, said to them, you have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is no more, and Simeon is no more, and now you would take Benjamin. All this comes against me. Then Reuben said to his father, kill my 2 sons if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you. But he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm should happen to him on the journey that you are to make, you would bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to show. Psalm 20. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send your help to the sanctuary and give you support from Zion. May he remember all your offerings and regard with favor your burnt sacrifices. May he grant you your heart's desire and fulfill all your plans. May he shout for joy over your salvation, and in the name of our God set up your banners. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed, and he will answer him from the holy heaven, and the saving might of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They collapse and fall, but we rise and stand upright. O Lord, save the king. May he answer us when we call.
Where might God be preparing you for responsibility instead of offering immediate relief? I mean, we're bringing people to Christ, and it is a big responsibility.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It is. But like you said, and we've talked about this recently, is we can only plant seeds. The Holy Spirit waters. So we're doing all we can do. I think just continue to raise these kids up in the Lord. Especially with all the crazy things that are going on in the world right now. It's important that our boys, they learn to act like men. And, that Holly grows up to act like a woman. But that is the linchpin right now is men need to act like men and women need to act like women. We need to stand up for what is right. Number 2, how do you tend to respond when God places you in a position of influence? You might be like that, like the pressure, but you got to do it with humility, because you can't go in there boasting, especially if it's someone who, someone that is new to Christianity or someone who's trying to come to the Lord. You can't go in there boasting about things.
But we boast in the name of the Lord our God.
Right, but like in the things that you do, you can't go in and you can boast in the name of the Lord, but like you walk in with yourself, a wretched sinner with complete humility, and like basically not Like basically talk to them at their level because in God's eyes you are at their level.
No, there's no favorites.
What does trusting God's timing look like for you right now? Baby number 6.
What the heck?
Yeah,
True.
because we have all the room in our car for another baby.
That's it for day 21.
Peace.